farm machinery fans, and welcome to our YouTube channel. As you may have noticed by the addition of Classic in our intro, we've opened a new category. Here we would like to show you older and special farm machinery that is still in service. For this, we also look into our farmworld.tv archive, because we've been filming in the agricultural sector for more than 20 years. For this contribution, we travelled close to Ulm in southern Germany and visited a group of enthusiastic MB-trac fans. Over 41,000 units of the MB-trac were built in total. It's assumed that 3/4 of these vehicles are still in service, and in many cases are meticulously cared for by their owners. On the outskirts of Ingoldingen in Baden-Württemberg in southern Germany, we visited a group of these proud owners and sent the boys off to work on the fields with their MB-tracs. Today's task is to prepare the fields for maize sowing. We take a look at the MB-tracs in operation and start with the smallest MB star of the pack. The 900 was built in 1982 and has around 8,000 work hours on the clock. Driver and owner Mark doesn't know exactly how many because the clock stopped at 5,000 hours. But who cares about work hours on an MB-trac? The tractor is built to last for eternity, after all. The previous owners of the 4-cylinder 900 used it intensively for winter service, so it has been painstakingly restored. The cab in particular had suffered a lot, so Mark and his friends replaced it. At the same time, the MB-trac was completely repainted and given a coat of the cult colour Silberdistel. The 900 model belongs to the so-called small series within the MB-trac family. This includes all models with a horsepower of between 70 and 90 and accounts for the largest numbers produced. Our transition to the mid-range series is made possible today by the MB-trac 1000. This track is owned by agricultural contractors Manfred Kuhn from the village of Grot. The tractor, which was built in 1988, is still regularly used for pulling the bale wrapper during grass foraging. This tractor is largely in its original condition and is pulling a 12 cubic metre slurry tanker today. 100 horsepower and 6 cylinders. That was still a good combination in the 80s. The stereotypical sound of the MB-trac is in part responsible for the tractor's cult status. The predecessor of the MB-trac is the Universal Motorgerät, or Unimog for short. We've got a Unimog 421 here today for filming. This one was built in 1980. The 421 is driven by Hermann. The Unimog was originally a tried and tested road vehicle, but at the time, the Mercedes-Benz engineers decided to develop a vehicle for agricultural use that was more powerful in terms of pulling power and its ability to mount implements. The remit was to use as many of the key Unimog components as possible in the new MB-trac, such as the transmission, axles, brakes, and in some cases even the engines. The centrally positioned driver's seat and 4 uniform-sized wheels, as well as a third mounting interface, characterized the new design, which came off the production line in Gargenau, south of Karlsruhe, in series from 1973 onwards. Today's gang also includes an MB-trac 1300 Turbo, built in 1990. This tractor is also owned by agricultural contractor Manfred Kuhn and is driven by the boss himself. He bought this fine example in 1998 and has since spent a lot of time and money on its service and maintenance. The 5.25 metre wide Vederstadt carrier goes perfectly with the MB-trac. This 1300 model hails from the newer, larger series, which was produced from 1988 onwards. This generation is very popular with collectors due to its many improvements, as well as, for example, the digital speedometer. This tractor was supplied in 1990 for 140,000 Deutsche Marks. 30 years on, the owner recently had his superbly well-maintained MB-trac professionally valued for around 55,000 euros. A real highlight of the day for us is this 1500 turbo. Driver Patrick farms a small arable farm as a sideline with his brother Mark and his father, and uses his tracks regularly. The 1500 was built in 1984 and has been completely restored. The tractor has 14,000 work hours on the clock to date. This model has 150 horsepower as standard, but has been optimised to around 180 horsepower. Today it is pulling a 15 cubic metre slurry tanker, and on other jobs it pulls a dumper trailer or a push-off trailer. The remarkable feature on this 1500 is its reverse drive unit, which at the time was envisaged for pushing a reverse drive harvester, for example. What also strikes you is its sharp-angled bonnet with close-meshed grille for keeping dust out of the radiator. The silver distal paint was actually only available from Mercedes-Benz as of 1988 and was used during its restoration. A 1500 like this would cost around the 50,000 euro mark today. The last ever MB-trac to leave the factory was a slightly bigger 1600 in December 1991, which marked the end of this era in tractor history. It certainly would have been exciting to see how Mercedes-Benz might have continued to develop the track concept up to the modern day. What is for sure is that the MB-trac won't be disappearing from our fields anytime soon, thanks to this band of dedicated enthusiasts and many others like them. We would like to thank all those involved in bringing this film project to life, and especially Fabian Sieg, who came to us with the idea. Although we have travelled to over 20 different countries throughout the world over the past few years to film farm machinery for our Farm World TV agricultural documentaries, it's projects such as these that we will remember for a long time to come. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit like and to subscribe to our channel. Our in-depth, independently produced agricultural documentaries are available on demand at www.farmworld.tv.